video is about a trip to the mountain just outside Chiang Mai, Doi Suthep, home of the Wat Pratat Buddhist Temple and the Pooping Palace. Yes, you heard that right. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but it's definitely more magnificent than our unfortunate English homonym gives it credit for. A word of warning to you motion sickness types, the road up the mountain is a windy, breathtaking climb that unfortunately made my poor little daughter quite sick. So if you sick easily, maybe some Dramamine would be a good idea. As you near the top, you'll come to a little village-looking area with a giant statue of Buddha on the right side of the road. A few paths lead up to the temple from this area. Taking the main path will lead you past lines of hawkers plying theirs or others' wares, and when you get to the top, within the outer temple grounds, even there, consumer temptations linger. Ironic that a belief system that is arguably one of the two most dedicated to non-attachment to this illusory world so readily acquiesce to consumerism that blatantly appeals to superficiality and impermanence. This is not meant to be a jab at Buddhism, but rather a jab at human nature, which always seems to find a financial opportunity even those places regarded as sacred. In the West, it tends to come in the form of testaments and televangelists. In the East, it can apparently come in the form of capitalist matchboxes and televangelists. Yeah, these matchboxes are so weird. Apparently someone in Thailand is a neocon. A visit to such a spot should remind us that life is complex, philosophies are heavily nuanced, and what may appear contradictory to us may not be so contradictory to the practitioners themselves. I just can't say how weird it is seeing a monk use a cell phone. I don't know why that is. I guess I've been conditioned by years of reductionist portrayals of Buddhists as Luddites. When we entered the outer portion of the temple grounds, there was a live music and dancing show provided by students on traditional instruments and traditional garb. Being a violinist, I was fascinated with this instrument, the saw yu, it's called. It has a nice rustic tone, and I can't imagine making it sound anywhere near as good as this kid did. If there's one thing Asian temples agree upon, it's bells. You think of an Edgar Allan Poe poem. The tingling of the bells, the tangling of the bells, the bells, bells, bells. I don't think it actually goes like that. Here the bells sound more like gongs, deep and reverberating dissonant tones that massage your diaphragm more so than your ears. A few days before coming to the temple, we watched the behind-the-scenes featurette on Pixar's Up, which showed the crew visiting the tepuis of Venezuela in order to do research for the film. Director Pete Docter said that he takes more away from sketching real-world scenes than simply photographing them. That he finds the shot or image easier to remember after having drawn it. Even a crappy drawing helps better solidify the image in the mind. Inspired by this little featurette and after finding a fantastic book in a Thai bookstore called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, we decided to buy sketchbooks and try our hand at Pete's little experiment. No big deal for Satya since she is a prolific artist. Mel and Satya decided to depict the bells or a small portion of them. I tried to draw a pattern on a wall and found my skills ill-suited to the task, so I settled on this little moss-covered corner of a small wall near the temple's back garden. Needless to say, I have a long way to go in my art career, but I have to agree with Pete. There really is something to taking the time to let a scene sink in as you try to duplicate it manually. It's a skill I hope to continue to develop. Within the temple walls are some beautifully sculpted images of Buddha made from a number of materials, even jade. Prayers and incense are offered liberally. Back in the outer area, I came across the gift shop and just had to see what books were available. I purchased a tourist guide to Buddhism and a book about farming in Thailand, probably one of those purchases I really didn't need to make because I'll probably never actually read it. I think I may be in need of a used book buying intervention. Near the market area below the temple steps, there's a great little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that has khao soi, a food item that was on our Thailand to eat list. It's awesome. After the temple, I tried my hand at a few tilt-shifty looking sequences. One day I hope to make this actually look right. We went up to the Pooping Palace next, which is famous for its flowers. Unfortunately, the season wasn't quite right or something because there weren't as many as we expected, but still a pretty good showing, and of course, we found some critters. Look at that, a fast roly-poly. And then there was this rogue cocoon just hanging out. I like this shot. Banyan trees are weird. The hills made me wish I had a skateboard. In summary, Doi Suthep makes for a beautiful and peaceful destination. I hope to visit again one day.